In last place, we got the esports 2014 summer case. This was a clear last place to me. The AK Jaguar sucks. It's probably my least favorite skin in the game, or one of them. Bullet rain is fine, but it's not good enough to be a red, and that's the problem with old cases. The reds that are in them wouldn't be reds if they release now. They'd probably be pinks or purples, and it does have the old knives, but for its $8 price point, you can open much better cases with the same knives, but you definitely shouldn't open it in 2025, and it comes in last place. 40, the esports 2013 winter case. This one's interchangeable with the 2014 summer case. I just can't put a case that only has one red, and when that red is the X-ray, yeah, it can't go any higher than this. It has the Deagle Cobalt Disruption, which actually doesn't look that bad in CS2, but again, this is just another case that shouldn't be open now. It comes in around $9. It doesn't have a single skin that I think is worth opening for. 39, Revolver case. I can already hear the comments, but in my opinion, this case is one of the worst. The only reason people open this case is for the Blue Gem Karambit. Let's just be honest, you're never going to hit that. The Royal Paladin and the Revolver Fade are terrible. Honestly, the point disarray was the only thing stopping this from going down a spot. I actually kind of like it. It's not enough to open this case for. And what do you expect from a Revolver case? It's based around the worst gun in the game. Never open this. You're never going to get that Karambit. 38, esports 2013 case. I do feel bad putting all of the esports cases down here. They're some of the oldest cases, so it's kind of unfair to hold them to the standard of the new cases, but they've got to be down here. This one should probably be lower than the others, but I really like the AK red laminate, so I did put it a bit higher, but it's still bad. Don't open it. It's got the AWP boom and the Death by Kitty, which, yeah. And it costs over $50, so I probably don't need to tell you not to open it. You're probably smart enough to realize that. P250 Splash, best skin in the game. 37, the Shadow case. A lot of you probably expected this case to be even lower, just because it only has Shadow Daggers in. I'm a fan of Shadow Daggers personally. Obviously, they're still a bad knife, but I do prefer them to like the Navaja, the Gut Knife, even some other knives like the Paracord. I'd take Shadow Daggers over. It's the problem when you have a case like this where it only has one set of knives. If that set of knives isn't like a good knife, or at least a moderately expensive knife, the case can't be that high. The rare special item is what you're going for. It's the most important part of the case. And when you open a Shadow case and see that gold come by and it lands on Shadow Daggers, you're always going to be disappointed. Frontside Misty's a decent AK, and USB kill confirmed I'm not a massive fan of, but it's okay and it's decent price. But the Shadow Daggers, man, it just can't go any higher. 36, Weapon Case 3. It's the worst of the weapon cases. Another case with just one red in it. The only reason this case is this high up is just because all of the skins in the case, other than the red, are worth some amount of money, so you will get a bit of your money back each time you open it. It comes in at around $8, I think, and it does have some good knives, like case hardened bayonets and flip knives, and I do really like the Glock 18 Blue Fisher. We're still in the part of the list where all these cases are bad, and you could probably shuffle them around and make an argument for why one should be above the other. It's a shame I have to put Weapon Case 2 this low. I'm a really big fan of it. If you've seen trade-ups, you definitely know of this case. It's got the P90 Cold-Blooded, which is like the most common thing used in trade-ups, and the Scout Blood in the Water, which is a nice scout skin, but you don't want to see it from a trade-up. It's got 5.7 Case Hardened in, MP9 Hypnotic. They're both really iconic skins. Not too expensive, but they are nice. But I just can't put the case any higher. It's not a very good case for profit. It's not got very nice looking skins in. Like, you're not going to play a game with a P90 Cold-Blooded, are you? But there are worse options, I guess. At 34, we've got the Operation Vanguard case. I really just don't like Wasteland Rebel. I think it's a really ugly skin. This is another one of those cases where the reds in it shouldn't really be reds. P2000 Fire Elemental is worthless, and the Wasteland Rebel is also worthless unless you get it in factory new, and it is float capped at 0.05. So you're not going to get it in factory new. It's got some alright knives in it. It's got a lot of bad knives as well. It's an average price case. It's about $4 or $5. 33, the Operation Broken Fang case. If this case is known for anything, it's the M4 print stream. Maybe if this was CSGO, this case would be a bit higher, but the print streams just don't look as good anymore, and this was the only thing the case had going for it, and now it's just not that good. Nothing else in the case is really worth opening for. Monster Mashup is okay, I guess. Cybersecurity is fine. I don't like Glock Neo Noir. I like the Neo Noir skins, but it looks better on a bigger skin like the AWP. And the gloves in this case are really bad. You've got Broken Fang gloves, which are worthless. You've got Driver gloves, which are also mostly worthless. Some of them look okay, like Black Tie. They're not too bad. To me, there's only one pair of gloves that's worth it, and it's the Slingshot gloves, and you know, you're never going to get those. And there's another case that has the same golds and is much, much cheaper. But we're at the point in the list where these cases aren't that bad. I still wouldn't recommend opening them. 32, Shattered Web case. I'm a fan of a lot of the skins in this case. Orb Containment Breach is my favorite orb skin. Tech 9 Decimator's decent. I like the MP7 Neon Ply, and that's only a purple. The problem is the knives. For the almost $5 you're paying for this case, you've got the chance to get Nomad knives, Paracord knife, Skeleton knife, or a Survival knife, which really isn't that good, because 3 of those knives are just not worth all that much. You're only going for the Skeleton knife. Paracord's one of my least favorite knives. It just doesn't have good knives in it for its price. If it was maybe like $1, like another case that we've got coming up later, then it'd be a lot higher up, but as it is, it's not really worth it. 31, CS20 case. As someone who doesn't have nostalgia for the classic knife, I can just go fully off of its looks, and I don't really like how it looks. The classic knife is the only knife in this case, and it's the only case that has the classic knife in. So if you like the classic knife, this case will be a lot higher for you. I don't like it. It's got boring animations, it looks boring, and it's disappointing that it doesn't have a Doppler or Gamma Doppler finish on it. For the skins, the Orb Wildfire is nice, but it's really held back by the commemoration as well. That skin is so bad. I have opened quite a lot of CS20 cases, and it just shows that most of the cases in Counter-Strike are worth it to some degree. This is just a matter of opinion. I don't like the classic knife, so it does come in quite low, but it's not a bad case. At 30, we've got the Falcon case. The Falcon knife is a good budget knife. You've got the Orb Hyper Beast, which is a decent skin. Aquamarine Revenge, which I don't like, but I know some people like it. Again, this isn't a bad case. It's probably like a C tier case, really. The only knife in it is the Falcon knife, which is a relatively budget, cheap knife. So it's really just not worth opening, because you're not going to be that happy with the gold you get. You might as well go for something different. 29, we've got Chroma 1 case. Chroma 1 case has some really nice knives in it. You've got Bayonet, M9 Bayonet, Flip Knife, Karambits, all good, but the reds in the case are pretty bad, and the other 2 Chroma cases are better than this one. Galil Chatterbox and Mana War, both pretty mid skins. And it's got some quite popular pinks in it, but I don't like any of them. AK Cartel is boring, Dragon King is a bit too much for me, and the P250, I don't like it either, but it's not a bad skin. I guess if you're just trying to pull knives, there's worse options. 28, we've got the Operation Riptide case. The Riptide case is a quite expensive case actually, and people kind of only open this case because it has a Butterfly Gamma Doppler in, which is a really nice skin, but it also has Bowie knives, Falcon knives, Huntsman knives, and Shadow Daggers. So if you're not hitting the Butterfly or a Gamma Doppler, you're not getting a great knife. The AK skin, I really don't like. Deagle Ocean Drive is also not a very good skin unless you get it in factory new. It's an alright case. I wouldn't open it, but I can see why people do. 27, Danger Zone case. Danger Zone case probably should be lower, but anything Danger Zone, I just love. This is a really good budget case. You've got 2 really nice looking reds with the AK Asimov and Orb Neo Noir. You've also got the Mecha Industries, the Phosphor. Those are both really nice skins. And it's got an okay selection of knives. It's got an Ursus and a Navajar, which obviously you don't want to hit. Then you've also got stilettos and Talon knives. So you've got a 50-50 picking a good knife. For the less than $1 price, it's a good case to open. 26, Spectrum 2. Spectrum 2 is a nice case on its own, but it's quite low just because Spectrum 1 is better. Spectrum 2 has the Empress, which is an alright skin, but then it's got the P250 See You Later, which is just terrible. It's so cheap. I think it comes in at like $10 factory new. For the knives, you got Shadow Daggers, Huntsman, Falcon knives, Butterfly, and Bowie knives. You got some nice knives in there, but a lot of them are quite cheap. It's a pretty good case. 25, got the Huntsman case. Now, the Huntsman case is only here because of the AK Vulcan, one of the most expensive AK skins, and it would be higher. The Desert Strike is like less than $10 in factory new. It's so bad, it's so ugly. And I do really like the Huntsman knife. For a case that cost over $10, hit a gold on it, it's really, really bad. Obviously, you can't expect more from a case that already has an AK Vulcan in, but the knife is the most important part. And when you feel disappointed about hitting a knife compared to hitting a red, I think there's something wrong with the case, but it's not bad. 24, Winter Offensive weapon case. Another older case. It's kind of expensive, but it does have the AWP red line. Quite expensive for a pink. You've got M4 Asimov, got Sword Off the Kraken, which is really cheap, but it's probably the best Sword Off skin, because there's not many. And you've got all the old classic knives, and the potential for case harden, so it does have that blue gem Karambit in. And it has the legendary 5.7 skin, so it can't be any lower. 23, Dreams and Nightmares case. Well, this is the best looking case. It's a shame we don't get more unique looking cases. They've only started doing them recently, and they don't even look that good. Dreams and Nightmares case has some really good knives in it. It's got the Gamma Doppler butterfly knife, and this case is quite cheap, coming in at less than $2, so it's good to open if you're going for that. The reds aren't that good. The AK Nightwish I do like, but it is quite cheap. And then you've got the Starlight Protector, which is another really bad red. But this case is quite high up, because I think this is one of the best cases to open if you just want some play skins. All of the pinks are nice, the MP7, the FAMAS, the dual Berettas. You got the Night Terror, Ticket to Hell, Space Cat. Honestly, anything from this case can be a play skin. It's a good case. 22, the Clutch case. The Clutch case is a very cheap case, and the skins reflect that. The most expensive one is the M4 Neo Noir, which factory new is only about $40, I think. But the skins do look nice. The MP7 Bloodsport looks nice, even though it's really cheap. USP Cortex is one of my favorite USP skins. For such a cheap case, it has some really nice gloves in it, especially those Vice gloves, Amphibious gloves, and Omega gloves. Like, having those three in a 60-cent case is really nice. This is a really good case if you just want to like mass open it and go for a gold. I wouldn't recommend doing that on any case, but if you were going to, this is a good option. 21, the Wildfire case. The Wildfire case you kind of only open to get the fuel injector, but it's worth it for that. It's a $3 case, and it does have the fuel injector, which can be upwards of like 1,000 if you get it Stat Track factory new. M4, the Battlestar, which is basically just Desert Strike again. I'm a Bowie knife enjoyer, so I did put this case a bit higher. It's a solid case, it has some good knives in it, and the AK fuel injector. It's a good option. 20, the Recoil case. Recoil case is one of the cheapest cases in the game. Everything from this case is quite cheap, even the reds and the gloves, but it's probably one of the best cases to open if you want a skin to use in game. USP Print Stream, not as good as it used to be, but it's still nice. Got the AWP skin, AKI's Cold, P250 Visions. You've got a really good selection of skins in this one. The gloves just pull it down a bit. I think the best gloves you can get would be probably Slingshot gloves, but there's a lot of bad gloves in it, but it is really cheap, so what do you expect? 19, Prisma 2 case. Case a lot of people love. I'm a fan of it too. It's got Talon knives, stilettos. I just don't really like the reds in it. The M4 Player 1, not my favorite. And Prisma 1 is just a much better case. 18, Spectrum 1. Spectrum 1 has been rising in price a lot recently. I used to mass open these when they were a bit cheaper. It's got the AK Bloodsport, a really clean AK skin, and it's got butterfly knives in it. If it hadn't increased in price, it might have been slightly higher, but as it is, it's a good case. I just think for the price, you can do a bit better. 17, Breakout case. I can hear the angry comments. Yeah, I know it has butterfly knives, but the case just doesn't have a good skin in it. Some people will probably put this case as their number one, but for me, it's just not amazing. It is good, I just don't like opening them. Only thing you want is the butterfly knife, which is fair, but for the price, I'd rather open a different case. 16, Chroma 3. It's a good case, I like it. It's got the bayonet, it's got the M9 bayonet, my two favorite knives, Chantico's Fire, PP Bison skin, decent price. This is just a solid case, there's not much to say. 15, Weapon Case 1. I love this case, everyone loves this case, it's a classic, but it is £100 and most people aren't going to open this case. What I really do like about this case is all of the skins are quite expensive. If you hit a purple, you've made your money back, which is probably the only case I think where you can do that. It's a really expensive case, but it's so much fun to open and it's a classic. At 14, we've got Gamma 2. Neon Revolution, I know people don't like it, one of my favourite AKs. It's got a fantastic selection of knives. Basically guaranteed a good knife from this case, except the gut knife, obviously. Whilst I'm talking about Gamma, number 13, Gamma 1. These two are interchangeable. They're kind of the same case, really, so I'm just going to lump them in together here. Number 12, Snakebite case. This is probably the worst case you can get from your weekly case drop, but to open it and buy them off the market, it's great. It's the cheapest case in the game. It's got some nice gloves, some good skins. Everything's cheap, but it's great to open. 11, glove case. This is a bit biased, but this whole list is really. Emerald Web gloves, by far my favorite gloves in the game. This is one of the 2 cases that has them, so it got this high up just for that alone, but it didn't quite break the top 10. The skins in the case, I don't really care about. It's just those gloves, man. But it is really expensive, so I don't open this one all too often. 10, Chroma 2. I love this case. The Hyper Beast and Mac 10 are really good. It's got the same knives as Chroma 3, which are really nice. You know, the bayonet and the M9 bayonet. It's just a slight improvement over Chroma 3. Number 9, Horizon case. I have no complaints with this case. This entire top 10, I'm happy to open whenever. I love them. It's got 2 really, really good reds. All the knives are nice, decent price. Perfect case, really. 8. The Bravo case. Yeah, I know people won't like this case being up this high. To me, it's too iconic to put any lower. It probably shouldn't be this high, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like that it's above weapon case 1, but it's a great case. It's so much fun. It's so iconic. It's number 8. Number 7, Prisma case. This is probably the go-to case if you're just trying to get knives. This is the one that most people open. They're cheap. All the knives are good. The reds are pretty decent. I really like how the Angry Mob looks, even though it's not expensive, but it's what I use in-game. It's a great case. Number 6, Operation Phoenix case. This is my favorite of the older cases. You got the Orb Asimov. The Mac 10 Heat is amazing for its rarity. AK Redline is okay, a bit overrated, but decent. And it's got the original knives. So it's basically everything you want in a case. 5, the Kilowatt case. I wasn't a massive fan of this case when it released, but it has grown on me a lot. Chrome Cannon is an amazing AWP skin. AK Inheritance, really nice. And I know people have mixed opinion on the Kukri knife. Its animations are a bit janky, but it is a really nice knife and it's decently expensive. This case has one of the best ROIs, which I'm not judging off, but it is a factor. It has to be here. 4 is the Fracture case. To me, this is what a case should be. It's cheap to buy, you're basically just paying for the keys. It's got 2 amazing reds on really popular guns. You got the Deagle Print Stream and the AK Legion of Anubis. And then you've got great knives in it. Skeleton, Nomad, Paracord and Survival. Yeah, 2 of those aren't great, but it's like a 50p case. It's great, it's a classic. 3, the Hydra case. This is one of my favorites, but it's probably not great to open. The gloves in it are so nice. The 5.7, the Hellfire, the Galil, everything's great about this case. It is a bit pricey, but I'm sure you'll agree it deserves to be top 3. 2 is the Gallery case. This might just be recency bias since we've had no content updates, but this is such a good case. I think Valve knows if they're not going to release actual updates, they need to make the skins good to hold over the community, and they did it with this case. The M4 is actually one of my favourite M4s. It's so nice. Glock Goldtooth, it's alright, it's pretty good. And again, the Kukri knives. Number 1, Revolution case. This is probably controversial, I don't know if people would agree, but for me, the best case in the game is Revolution case. It's got an M4 skin and an AK skin, so you've got 2 main weapons as the reds, and it's got some of the best purples any case does. You got the M4A1, you got the Glock, you got the Banana Cannon, you got Neo Queen. I could say a good thing about every single skin in this case, and for its really cheap price, you got some great gloves. You got Imperial Plaid gloves, you've got Vice gloves, Amphibious, Omega, Crimson Web gloves. It's amazing, and it's number 1 for me. I hope you guys liked this video. It took a lot of effort to make, and it's probably the longest video I'll make for a while. If this is the first video you're watching by me, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. If you don't agree with me, that is fine. This is an opinion, and I know I sped through a lot of these end cases. I just didn't have much to say. They're just good cases, really. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.